Hi everyone, my name is Phyllis Y. Whitley. If you have been spiritually victimized or traumatized, welcome to Spiritology Live, where I bring my #1 Amazon bestseller book to life. Yes, each episode will be a raw, spiritual, metaphysical, and holistic space of consciousness for self-healing. As you learn how to break your religious shackles so you can master and manifest your promised land today. Let's go. Hi everyone, I am so thankful and I had a birthday month. Yes, I did. A birthday week. I think everybody should celebrate their birthday for the whole month. Why not? Why not? Celebrate yourself. How do I do it? Self-love, self-care. And I think I discussed it in my last episode. I use most of that time getting revised from God. It's like going to the gas station and you fill up your tank. I fill up my tank and I get closer to God. I use that time for meditation, affirmation, and prayer. So I'm ready. Everybody needs that, not once a year, but I do it. And usually I'm telling you, God blessed me so much during my birthday week. I didn't have to ask for anything, literally. And I probably did, but it literally was given to me by my team. I have no words. I'm speechless. So just become that cup that runs over. So you can notice that everyone that touch you or come near you is blessed. Just see it spill over. That if you have to go to somebody and ask for a favor, they look at you and say, hey, I don't even want you to speak no more here. Because they know that they're sowing good grounds. If you're a spiritual leader, your members should know that they're sowing on good grounds. And they should not hesitate if you have a need or something. So with that being said, I had a beautiful week, restful week, and we are doing requests by my Whisper Buys team and my mentees. And today we are doing from Regina Brown in New York City. We're going to give her a big shout out. She actually was the one who I did the book of her based on her son, Ask Jalen. So you got to go get that book. So anyway, what was on her heart? What was her question? She actually sent me something that says, the Bible says we are saved because of Jesus, and per his stripes we are healed. However, we pray for healing for ourselves and others, but some are healed and others remain sick. Why is there a protocol that we are not following? Excellent question. If you listen to my last few podcasts, everyone had, oh my goodness. They gave me some questions that I had to work. I'm talking about work. I'm going to keep it real. I don't like going by scripts. Okay. But you have to be prepared in some way or form or another. A lot of people say, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to get on a podcast and I just don't have nothing. I'm running out of things to say. You should never run out of things to say. As long as the earth is moving and you are breathing, you can walk outside and see nature just doing something spectacular. And something is always in the headlines. Now, whether you want to go ahead and talk about the bad news, I talk about the good news, which is the gospel, something to help you get through life, to live your promised land today, not after you gone in the sky and say bye. So with that being said, this is something that I had to go study. I did it with all of them. So just to recap, I talked about discipleship, what it's like being a Christian. And that was from Patty in Virginia. And I literally talked about how, once you confess and you believe in Christ, you literally become a disciple, which is a learner. once you become a learner or a student, you literally learn, and your learning don't have to be strictly under a pastor. It can be your career in the marketplace. You learn it. Even when you go into school, learn it. Have the attitude of a willing, ready student. And you can go forth in life, and even at a young age, you should turn that student label or learner label into you are now the professor, you are now the teacher, you are now the mentor. And that's how you expand your business. For those of you who don't know that was a little gem I just gave you. It was a gem. Use it. And then we had Sheeta from Texas. And literally, she was talking about the generational curses that people don't think exists. Some people don't want to look at yesterday. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But I feel like I'm a stronger believer that who you are today has everything to do with where you came from. You got to know where you're coming from in order for you to know who you are and know where you're going. And I believe in that. And a generation of curses, to recap, basically for those who are African Americans who suffered slavery, generational curses can come straight from that area where ignorance came from not being able to read or write. And we carried it. How did we carry something like that? Slavery mentality. People today still refuse to read, where we had ancestors who died over it. And maybe that's why, little Bonnie don't want to read, or they hate school. So we talking about how that generational curse come down, how you have generational curses that I think come from the Israelites on the spiritual side, not knowing God, not listening to his voice, because God usually, he got everything already pre-established and destined. The universe is moving according to the master. So you really want to know about your past, get an idea who you're going to marry or who you're going to, whatever you're going to do, and be very careful who you choose, who's your spouse, because you pulling in their generational curses. We discussed that. We discussed the blessings. If you're not cursed, you're blessed. Life will come to you, because as long as you live in this world, you unfortunately will be a partaker of other people's curses. So that's why you have to be careful who you keep company with. You ever know that person that everything goes wrong from the time they get up and they get on the phone when they spend hours telling you why everything is not right? You got that coworker that comes to your cubicle, and I'm going to tell you why this is not this and that. I never forget, I had a coworker come to me, and I was working back in the days. I was working at I'm not going to give no department store any props, but I was working, and the person would come over while I was stocking, and they would just go on and on about this is wrong and that's wrong and this is wrong and that is wrong and I listened to her one day, and then I turned around and I said, why don't you just get up and leave then, if everything is that wrong? She looked at me like, what? And she didn't, I'm gonna tell you, that was the last time she came over there to me, because she couldn't. I was telling her, you complaining, be aware of that person. Notice who they are, and you need to run. It's blessings and it's curses out there that's generated automatically when you go against the law. The Lord, LOAL. Okay? And you can change that. And if you haven't listened to those previous podcasts, please go ahead and do so. Now we are going to go into the cycle of sickness. And basically what it is God said, we turned it around, and I broke it down, the title, to by his stripes, you are healed. How to overcome a sick consciousness. Yes. How do you do it? I might put in here how to win and overcome. We'll see. First of all, let's just go right into it. I feel that people take this scripture out of content and they walk around the church and they just be like, by his stripes you are healed. And some people just happen to put that in their prayer. So I can't go, if the people are healed, that's excellent. But it's more than just that. It's more than just saying those words. What do it mean when you hear that by his stripes you were healed? First of all, that particular word is another way of saying that Jesus endured the punishment and the suffering all on the cross. Your punishment is suffered on a cross. He already did it. So why are we still suffering? I can wrap it up with this right here, with this particular scripture. But before I do so, let me give you a disclosure. I am not a doctor and I do not claim to cure or heal anybody, but I am an ordained minister. I am a counselor and I am a spiritual leader and a mentor. And all of this is based on healing your spiritualness, which I call consciousness, so it can heal everything on the outside. Now let's go to the scripture. For as he thinks in his heart, so is he. That's one of my favorite scripture. Proverbs 23:7. And it's actually, that one is, I do believe this might be the NIV. I normally do the New King James Version. Don't quote me on that. But it's normally, it sounds, you probably heard, as a man thinketh. And I like that one. That's probably just straight King James. In his heart, so is he. Right there. We can go right now. We can go right now. Because we can end it right now. And I'm going to just tell you something about that. A lot of sickness comes from the mind. I'm going to get raw on this one. So if you can't handle raw, you got to get out of my kitchen. I'm going to be frank and raw on this. If I'm stepping on your toes, then you might be guilty. Got any doctors on here or something in the medical field? What I'm saying is, how you think has everything to do with who you are. Because the heart hears your spirit. If you thinking incorrectly, if you thinking sickly, your spirit is going to become sick. Everything happens from within before it goes without, which means that everything that you're feeling inside, you know how somebody tell you, you just look terrible today. You wake up in the morning, they say, "Ooh, what's going on with you, Kathy? You just don't look well." And you know what you do? "I'm fine." Then you keep on walking and your next coworker said, "Oh my goodness, girl, what's going on with you? You don't look too happy." And then you sit back and say, "No, I'm fine." And then you look at your boss say, "Come in the office." And the boss try to tell you what's going on that day, and then that boss look at you and say, "Is something wrong, Kathy? Or Katrina? What's going on with you?" You said nothing. I mean, everybody keep asking me that. I'm fine. And you go to your seat, and guess what? You start thinking real hard. They just dropped some seed in you, honey, that's getting ready to marinate. And then by 12 o'clock, you say, "I'm sick." Why? Why did I say this? Why did I give this as an illustration? Because you are who you think you are. I think Dennis Green said that in sports. I love football. He said, "We are who they thought we were." Israelites. I always go back to the Israelite. You learn a lot when you go and you look in that Old Testament about how Moses had to carry them through to get to the promised land, but they couldn't. That's your life. God got a promised land out there for everybody. My teaching is just like, you might as well say, I'm not Moses, but my teaching is teaching you how to enjoy your promised land. First, you have to know that you have a promised land. A lot of people say, "No, I thought after I died, I thought I was supposed to suffer." Why are you suffering? By his stripes, you are healed, which means he did all the suffering for you. So why is the masses is walking around sick? I'm going to do this so raw that some of y'all are going to say, you know what? I don't know if I can take this. I'm going to come back later. Because let me tell you something. He also said he wants you to be healthy. You don't believe me? 3 John 1 2. 3 John 1 2. That's the 3rd John. It's in the back of your Bible. 1 2. Beloved, I pray that you prosper in all things and be in health, even as your soul prosper. I think another version is said, be in good health, just as your soul prospers. God wants you to be prosperous. So when your pastors speak about prosperity in your mind, body, and soul, don't get mad. Oh, he's talking about prosperity for his money because he's so and so. No. Who are you going to be good to if you can't go out there and you're not prosperous in your life? If your wallet in your pocketbook and your bank is not prospering, who are you going to help? You got to prosper to send your kids to school. You got to prosper to send them to specialization school, prosper to send them to college. You got to prosper for you to have your bills paid, prosper if you want to get a house, prosper if you want to get a car, prosper if you want to get some real estate. Do you understand what I'm saying? Prosper if you want to pay health for your health. And you have to prosper and have the best job that's going to give you the best insurance. Prosper, prosper, prosper. Don't get mad. God says it right here. He said he wants you to do it he wants you to all things. He wants you to be prosperous in your health, prosperous in your soul. Why? Because he know that all that was done at Calvary. Now, coming back, let's take a good look at what's going on with you. Why do we stay sick? Why do we even get sick? First of all, I'm going to tell you, that's why I said the disclosure. As long as we in this body, the body is just dirt that's going to go back to dirt. So, and we in an environment that might not be healthy. So a lot of things do contribute to illness. But I'm going to tell you, majority of it is coming from your mind. Well, Miss P, you trying to tell me I thought this up and I thought this up. What are you talking about? Let me tell you something. My mama had high blood pressure. My papa had rheumatism and arthritis. Okay. I did discuss that last time. Generational curse is going down. Some people say, how do you clear it up? A lot of you can clear up rheumatism and arthritis if you stop eating Mr. Porky. The doctor told you. I think one time I said something about, I knew a gentleman who he had a heart attack. And he said, listen, I want to live with my, I think he had 6 kids, and the doctor turned around and took him off everything. He told him to stay away from pork and beef. And I never forget, and he was the maintenance man at one of the complex I was living in. And he said to me, it's the hardest thing I had to do, because he said, I love every part of the pig. I love the pig from the nose to the butt. And I mean, don't laugh, because I grew up, I remember seeing pigs' feeds. I remember pig tongues. Now, I'm not here to curse the industry of pork and even beef, because there's people out there that can eat pork and beef. If you can eat pork and beef and you fine, enjoy it. Oh my goodness. Enjoy every bit of it. Enjoy your steak. Enjoy your pork chop. I know all about it. I used to be there. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of y'all are walking around, and I have heard it, even with the gentleman I was just talking about. What happened? He couldn't stay on that. He wanted his stuff. I don't know what his wife was doing, but I'm assuming that she still was keeping the pork in the family. You see the generational curse is coming right on down. And personally, don't fry no pork chop in front of me. I grew up on that stuff. Pork chop smells good. I took it out my house. Now, some of y'all say, I just can't take it away from this man because that's all he know and whatever. But that's when you need to, if you have control, you don't have control over your spouse, you better have control over your kids while they, young enough, because I'm going to tell you right now, that arthritis that he's getting or you getting, and your toes are curling up. A lot of that had nothing to do with the doctor. But let me tell you where you get in trouble at. This is how your sickness manifests and just spread, because you know that toe is curling up, you know that you're limping, and then you turn around and go to the doctor in the medical community. I'm going to tell you, first of all, let's look at what illness, or should we say disease, is. According to the dictionary, disease is a disorder or incorrectly functioning organ or part or stature or system of your body. That's the dictionary. Something that's disordered. According to the medical community, illness or sickness, I put it all together with disease, but illness and sickness is characterized by a specific signs and systems. And when the signs and systems. Now, do you understand what I'm saying? The doctor code takes your signs and systems and he put a band-aid over it. So we got the doctor community and we got the holistic community. I deal with the holistic community. But the doctor, he is trained to practice on you. They don't know everything. Very intelligent, but ask them. They when they go to school, it's practice. And so what happens is they are trained to take your signs and systems and say, oh, this adds up to this, and this adds up to this book says so and so and so. I know what you have. And therefore, I'm going to give you a band-aid. They give you a pill from the biggest drug pushers, pharmaceutical industry. Yes, the doctors start prescribing a drug from the biggest drug pushers out there, pharmaceutical community. This is why the commercials are there to manipulate you. They come on late at night. I literally put my TV on mute. They tell you all of this. They show you these people are happy and oh my goodness, I just started taking this because my eyelid itch. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, I'm so glad my doctor gave it to me. And then they have to tell you, the side effects. And then you hear, I discussed this before. Well, when you do this, your eyelids are going to drop. And please consult us if your toes fall off. I'm being serious. I mean, I'm to the point where I really want to write the politicians, the Senate or representatives, because the commercials are terrible. They dropping a seed in you. So mind you, okay, you healed by his stripes. But now you fast forward when you in today's world and you got all of this stuff coming at you. You got medication coming to you. And then the bad part of it, they always say, when in doubt, if they keep giving you medicine and it ain't working, guess what? They're going to cut it out when in doubt, honey. Now, all doctors bad? No, that's what they are trained for. That's what they learn. That's why they get money for that. They doing the best that they know. But if you notice, the holistic community of doctors and practitioners are joining up and linking with doctors. And doctors are going to them. I went to a holistic school. And I remember we had to talk to each other and interview each other. And I remember talking to nurses who said I had to come all the way over to the holistic world because I was tired of giving people a pill to die. Matter of fact, I was talking to one. I went to the holistic place to get me some shots, and literally vitamin shots. And one of the girls told me she had took it up in high school, and she became a nurse as early as 22. And she went to the hospital. It was the worst thing she ever have seen. And she said she blamed herself, and she couldn't understand how they was coming in the hospital and to get well, and they was just dying and dying and dying. And it's almost like the doctors have to be very, 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 they can't show any empathy. They have to literally be cold. With that being said, I've been there. I just at everything, and certain things your body might be allergic to, that literally is your body is telling you is allergic to it. I also remember this girl, a coworker of mine, and she was her face was blown up. I mean, not to, you know how it's swollen. And she said, "Oh, my face is swollen because I love me some crabs and I know it, I'm allergic to it." But, and I was like, "Well, why are you eating them?" And she said, "Well, because I love it." And she said, "It's all right. It's all right. I got some pills for that." Eventually, those pills are not going to work. And what's going to happen? See, it's a band-aid. The holistic community, literally, they have a different approach. Consider the multidimensional aspects of wellness. They don't cover the system and just the signs. They encourage you to recognize the whole person, the physical, mental, and emotional, and social, and intellectual, and spiritual part of you. When all of that is out of order, it's going to affect something. When people come for consultation and they say to me, "You know what? I don't know what's going on. My job is going crazy. This and that." And first thing I ask, "What's going on? What's going on in your household? What's going on with your love life?" I guarantee you, if your spouse is acting up, it's going to go right on over to your career. "Well, Miss P, I mean, things go out of order." Yes, it does. This is why I said clean out the clutter. It's things you have to get in order. That's why a spiritual leader who have everything out of order, I'm like, how do you get up and you teach somebody? How do you can't be perfect, but God dang, you better stop. You better step down. When you hear pastors running around and cheating and stuff, or deacons in the church, somebody, a Bible study teachers in the church, and the pastors don't reprimand them in the sense of saying, "Hey, you need to step down. You need to get that in order." What happens? They get up and they go back and they think, "Oh, this is just like a child. I can do this." And they go back and they blame it on the enemy. And they go and do the same cycle going over to generational curse, where they need to look at that. See, the holistic doctor's going to look at everything. And I'm not telling you to leave a doctor, but I am telling you something. You better find a holistic doctor also and bring them together. Or at least do what I do. What I do is I use the doctor for preventive care, and I use holistic practitioner for maintenance. Maintenance, and this literally is a whole bunch of things that you can do with that. Holistic, there's so many things you can do. Holistic health therapy, acupunctures, you can do acupressure, biofeedback, massage therapy, chiropractor, manual therapy. Oh my God, meditation, guided imagery. I'm pretty sure that's like affirmation, but you're imagining it. They going in your mind. You got yoga, which really just deal with quiet everything around you, and it's your body doing these stretches that you didn't think your body can do. Therapeutic touch, Reiki, energy therapy, and Ayurveda. All of this is holistic. It's a holistic thing that literally is there to help you. And you can use that. And then that way, when you go to the doctor, have your doctor. I'm not against all doctors. Let them know, this is what I'm doing. I'm taking these vitamins or whatever. He's going to write it down. Now, if I have heard where people were sick, or they was told that they had an illness, and one lady, she had a bad illness, and I'm going to speak it. It was literally cancer. And she said that she told the doctor, "Give me a couple weeks or whatever," because she knew her father had just died from cancer. And she was like, "Oh no." She turned around and she went and cleaned up her whole act with her meals and stuff. So basically, I always said this: you can go and have cancer or some kind of illness, but they don't teach you when you leave the treatments of cancer how to change your mind. That's like repent. Don't think the same way. Don't go to the same table and eat the same food that you ate. And if it's a history of cancer in your family or sickness, You are eating the same from the same table your parents ate. Change that. Yes. They don't tell you that. So you come home and you got all these treatments and you say, oh my goodness, I'm going back and whatever. And I've been there. Don't let them tell you in remission. Is again. You have to study that. You have to turn around and say, And let me tell you what happened to the girl. She went and changed her whole I don't know if she went and got somebody to help her whole diet and everything. And she came back and she went to the doctor and they said, I'm sorry, but I don't see anything. And from that point on, she joined the school and she wanted to go teach other people. They do have holistics out there, and a lot of them have to be on a lowdown because the medical community won't accept them unless you adopt. And this is why a lot of doctors are saying crossing over. I also had this young girl in my class, and she said her husband's a doctor. She was in a holistic coach, and her husband said he didn't believe in none of that. But then when he would get real sick, he would come to her and say, what do you recommend? What do you think? What kind of tea should I have? Whatever. And then he'll get better and then turn around and say, I don't believe in that, because he really didn't want to take the pills. Ask yourself, if you're a doctor and you mad at me, ask yourself, do you want somebody to keep pushing pills to your mother or your father? The same pills that you put and give and prescribe to people, do you want someone to prescribe this to your mother or your elderly grandmother? It's a shame when people go home and they have a bag full of medication. Because this is my theory. If one medication is coming to put a Band-Aid on you, that medication is going to mess some part of your organs. Then you're going to go back and you're going to say, well, my right hip is hurting now. No problem. I'll write a prescription. And then you go and take that medicine and then your head hurt. And then you go back to the doctor. Do you notice that? You are increasing. And I remember when my mother was here, I decreased her medicine. She had so much. I decreased her medicine, I think, all the way from 10 to 4 pills. And unfortunately, she had a doctor who, when I was telling him this particular pill or medicine look like she's just looking a certain way. And he was like, I didn't know what I was talking about. And a lot of them get offended. And I know people who said, just like that girl, her doctor didn't believe in it. And the doctor was like, I don't want to see you no more. Because you going against everything that they learned. And a lot of nurses are coming over to the holistic field. And this particular nurse said, I couldn't do it anymore. I cried all the way through. I stayed a year. But I needed to go somewhere where they was helping people live. The hospital should not be your last resort. And speaking of hospital, the church is a spiritual hospital, and they need to be healed. So that literally, I'm going to stop this because we are going to go on part 2. You don't want to miss it. Part 2 is I'm going to go ahead and continue to explain what it is that you need to do. I'm just giving you some areas between the medical community and the holistic community. And some of y'all who don't know, I don't know. I know people who don't want to know nothing about the holistic. And I remember I have a friend, and I would just tell him, he asked me about this. And I said, why don't you do this? Some of them they just love it. I hate to say it. They love it to a point. Let me stop, because somebody's saying, I don't love being sick. But I have noticed or heard that people have choices. And I remember somebody was telling me that their sister was getting some toes cut off. And the doctor kept telling her, stop eating. She loved junk food. And he even told her, the family was telling her, and she said, I'll never stop eating frankfurters and all of that. And I'm not telling you frankfurters gonna get you, so please don't quote me on that. Feet, limbs cut off. But what I'm saying, just like the person who said they loved the pig, they went back to the pig. I also heard about this man who the doctor said, you need to just stop eating steak and potato. Or the next time you come in here, you're gonna be a goner, because he had several heart attacks. And I kid you not, he said, I ain't giving up no steak and potato. And they said that he died that next week. So I'm telling you, some people know they have a choice, and they will say, no, I'm not giving up the pork. I'm not giving up the beef. If I'm allergic to seafood, I'm not giving it up. So don't come tell me I'm just going against pork and beef. No, it's what harms your body. It's a way you can do it. But if you say, hey, I can't take it, I got to enjoy this, I'm just going to die, enjoy it, go ahead and do so. And hopefully you'll make it to my next episode. And if I don't hear you or see of you, I don't know, because it is a podcast, I wish you well. Thank you for coming into my space. Now you know what to do. You need to go get your promised land. You need to go ahead and order my book. It's not too late. It's in ACX. Also, you can listen to it. And what's new is I have newsletters and blogs that you can get some appetizers until you hear my podcast. And Ask Jalen is out. And his mother, Regina Brown, literally gave me this particular podcast episode. She gave it to me, and this was her question. But you got to go way back, because I actually interviewed her on how it is to raise an autistic boy and not allow him to carry that title or that label. Remember, if loving yourself, see how I said yourself, and you can say that too. Remember, if loving self is wrong, you don't want to be right. And actually, it can go, if loving self is right, you don't want to be wrong. That's what I'm here for. We are going to have a blast the next time we continue. You don't want to miss what I got to say about by his stripes, you are healed.